Assalamualaikum guys, welcome to Amiji's kitchen. Today we have my younger sister Maryam and she's actually going to be cooking Baingan Salan with Ami. All right, let's get started.
Today we're going to make spicy Baingan. Baingan means eggplant. So here are the main ingredients. The fresh ingredients are 2 tomatoes, 1 onion, 1 large pepper, 2 pounds of small eggplants, that's about 12 pieces, Kari pata, which comes from the curry tree, so that's a curry leaf, you can look for that, and 3 tablespoons of oil. So here are all the spices that you'll need for spicy Baingan. 3 cloves of garlic chopped, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of red chili powder, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 1 teaspoon of zira powder, 1 teaspoon of coriander powder, 1 teaspoon of zira, 1.5 teaspoon of whole jar, and 3 tablespoons of chaat masala. So in order to marinate the Baingan and get all the spices in there so the Baingan can soak it all up, Amiji is cutting 4 cuts in the Baingan just like that. So as you can see, she's made 4 cuts.
So now we will use chaat masala.
So now she'll use the spices that we mentioned earlier. So now she's using the chaat masala and marinating the inside of each Baingan and nicely rubbing it. Okay, so now we've turned the stove on to high and we're going to pour the oil. So you want to start with putting the garlic and you want to saute that until it's a golden brown. So you can hear the garlic sizzling and you want to saute it until it's a golden brown. So the next step is adding the zira. And then you can add the rest of the spices. So that's the salt, turmeric, red chili powder, and the coriander powder, and the zira powder. And the next thing you want to do is add the eggplants. And here Amiji has turned the kitchen to low because you don't want the eggplants to burn. And mix that all up nicely. Okay, so the next step is Amiji cut up the tomatoes into small cubes, and you want to put that in now. Cubes, and she's put that in now, mixing that all nicely. Okay, so now Amiji is going to cover the pot and let it simmer on low for about 10 minutes. So here Amiji is slicing the onion, and this slicer she has is very good. She'll link the product below so you can order it as well, but it's very easy to cut the onions in small rings, much easier than cutting a knife, and you get a much more consistent cut. And now she's going to slice the pepper with the same slicer. The slicer really helps in getting a consistent cut so everything cooks evenly and it saves lots of time. So it's been 5 minutes. Amiji just removed the lid to check on the baingan, the eggplants. Everything looks really good. The tomatoes are starting to cook. As you can see, the nice sizzle. So everything looks good. So what she's going to do actually, she's going to put the lid back on for another 5 minutes. So here Amiji has prepared the garnishing that you'll need. You have the onions sliced, you have the pepper, the curry powder, and the whole ajar spice. So it's been 5 minutes. We're going to check on the baingan. As you can see, the nice sizzle. So everything looks good. So what she's going to do actually, she's going to put the lid back on for another 5 minutes. So here Amiji has prepared the garnishing that you'll need. You have the onions sliced, you have the pepper, the curry powder, and the whole ajar spice. So it's been 5 minutes. We're going to check on the baingan. And as you can see, the tomatoes are simmering. They've released some water. Also some water from the eggplants has been released. So now what you want to do is you want to turn the stove on medium so it's higher, and just mix it. Make sure everything's mixing well. So at this point, Amiji is going to add the whole ajar masala. And she's going to cook that for about 5 minutes on medium heat. She's going to cover it again for another 5 minutes. Okay, so now we're going to check on the eggplants. We're going to take the lid off. And you can see that the sauce is nicely formed. The tomatoes have cooked and the eggplants are soft. You want to just mix it a little bit. You can see the water is cooked all the way through. You don't want to mix too aggressively because then that'll break the eggplants. And now what we're going to do is garnish them. So you can garnish with the onions. And the curry patta and the peppers.
So the electric stove.
As you can see, Ammi has garnished the eggplants. And you want to turn the stove on.
If it's an electric stove, just turn off.
If it's an electric stove, you want to just turn it off. But if you're using a gas stove, then you want to keep the heat on low at this point. Or simmer.
Few minutes.
Just for a few minutes.
Like stable one. Done.
So now we're just going to give it a little stir and you are done.
We'll pot it.
So now we'll plate it.
All right. Thank you, Mariam, for helping Amiji today. It looks so good. I hope you guys try this at home. Let us know how it goes. And subscribe to our channel, like our video, and share. All right. See you in the kitchen next time. Assalamu alaikum.